I'll never forget the moment my daughter looked me in the eye and said, "Dave's more of a father to me than you'll ever be." I was 42 years old, standing in the parking lot of her high school graduation, holding a gift I'd saved 3 months to buy, and my 16-year-old daughter had just shattered whatever was left of my heart. My name is Marcus. I'm a maintenance supervisor at an apartment complex. I drive a 10-year-old Honda. I live in a modest 2-bedroom rental. And for the past 8 years, I've watched another man raise my daughter while I became nothing more than a footnote in her life. That man is Dave Richardson. Plastic surgeon. 6-figure income. Lives in a house that's worth more than I'll make in a lifetime. And according to my daughter, he's everything I'm not. Let me take you back to where this nightmare began. 8 years ago, my wife Linda left me. We'd been married for 12 years. Our daughter, Jessica, was 8 years old. The divorce wasn't dramatic. No cheating. No abuse. Just, Linda wanted more. "I'm not happy anymore, Marcus," she'd said one night after Jessica went to bed. "I feel stuck. Like this is all my life will ever be." "What do you mean? We have a good life. We have Jessica. We're barely making ends meet. You work constantly but we never get ahead. I want more than this. I deserve more than this." I tried to fight for us. Suggested counseling. Promised to work harder. Begged her to give me a chance to make things better. But her mind was made up. 6 months later, the divorce was final. Linda got primary custody. I got every other weekend and Wednesday dinners. Every other weekend. That's all I got with my own daughter. Linda met Dave 4 months after our divorce was finalized. I first heard about him from Jessica during one of our Wednesday dinners. She was 9 years old, excited in that innocent way kids get. "Mommy has a new friend," she said, dipping her chicken nuggets in ketchup. "His name is Dave and he's really nice. He took us to the fancy restaurant with the fish tanks." My stomach dropped. That's nice, sweetheart. "And he has a really big house. With a pool. He said maybe I could swim there sometime." I smiled. Nodded. Acted supportive. Inside I was dying. By Jessica's 10th birthday, Dave wasn't just Mom's friend anymore. He was moving into the picture fast. And he had everything I didn't. Money. Status. Time. While I was working 50-hour weeks just to keep up with child support and my own bills, Dave was taking Jessica and Linda on weekend trip. Disneyland. Beach resorts. Ski lodges. Dave took us to Hawaii. Jessica told me one day, showing me pictures on Linda's phone. "We stayed in a hotel right on the beach. And I learned to surf." "That's amazing, honey. I'm so glad you had fun." What I wanted to say was, I can't afford to take you to Hawaii. I can barely afford the zoo. But I'm still your father. I still love you just as much. But I didn't say that. Because I didn't want to be that parent. The bitter ex who badmouths the new guy. So I smiled. And I died a little more inside. Linda and Dave got married when Jessica was 11. I wasn't invited to the wedding. Obviously. But Jessica told me all about it during our next visit. "It was so beautiful, Dad. They got married at this fancy hotel, and I was the junior bridesmaid, and my dress was so pretty. And Dave said I can call him Dad if I want to." My heart stopped. He said that? Yeah. I mean, I don't have to. But he said he'd be honored if I did because he loves me like a daughter. I forced a smile. That's really nice of him, Jess. Are you mad?" "No, sweetheart. I'm not mad. I want you to be happy." I was lying. I was furious. Devastated. Terrified. But what could I do? Tell my 11-year-old daughter she couldn't be happy with her new family? Make her feel guilty for bonding with the man her mother married? I couldn't do that to her. So I swallowed my pain and pretended everything was fine. Over the next few years, I watched myself become increasingly irrelevant in my daughter's life. At first, Jessica still seemed excited to see me. Our weekends together were good. We'd go to the park, rent movies, make pizza together in my tiny kitchen. But gradually, things changed. Dad, can we skip this weekend? Dave's taking us to his cabin, and I really want to go. Dad, I can't do Wednesday dinner this week. I have volleyball practice and Dave's coaching. Dad, I need to cancel. There's this concert Dave got tickets for. Every cancellation felt like a knife in my chest. And when we did spend time together, I noticed the comparisons starting. Dave has a boat. Do you have a boat, Dad? Dave's taking us to Europe this summer. Have you ever been to Europe? Dave said he's going to help me get a car when I turn 16. Are you going to help too? She didn't mean to be cruel. She was just a kid, excited about her life. But every comparison reminded me of what I wasn't, what I couldn't provide. Jessica's 14th birthday party was at Dave and Linda's house. I was invited. Barely. Linda sent a text. Jessica's party is Saturday at 2. You can come if you want. If I want. Like I was some distant relative, not her father. I showed up with a gift I'd carefully chosen. A charm bracelet with a little volleyball charm, because she'd just made the school team. It cost me $80. More than I should have spent, but I wanted her to know I paid attention. That I cared. The party was everything I couldn't provide. Catered food. A DJ. Decorations that probably cost more than my monthly rent. And Dave was at the center of it all, playing the perfect host. The perfect stepdad. I watched as Jessica opened presents. Designer clothes from Linda. A new laptop from Dave. Concert tickets. Gift cards. Then she got to my gift. Oh, a bracelet, she said flatly. Thanks, Dad. She set it aside and moved to the next present without even really looking at it. I saw Dave's gift last. Keys to a car. A used Honda, but still. A car. Jessica screamed. Hugged Dave. Oh my God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best. You're welcome, sweetie, Dave said, beaming. You've worked hard. You deserve it. I stood there, holding my paper plate of catered food, watching my daughter hug another man with a joy she hadn't shown me in years. The final blow came at her high school graduation 2 years later. Jessica was 16. Beautiful. Smart. Ready to start her senior year. I'd been saving for months to get her something special. A professional camera. She'd been talking about wanting to get into photography. The graduation ceremony was fine. I sat alone, several rows back. Linda and Dave sat up front with their extended family. Afterward, in the parking lot, I found Jessica surrounded by friends and family. Jess. Congratulations, sweetheart, I said, holding out the wrapped camera. She barely looked at me. Oh, hey, Dad. Thanks. She took the gift without opening it. One of her friends said, Jessica, who's this? Oh, that's Marcus, Jessica said casually. My biological father. Marcus. Not Dad. Marcus. Cool, the friend said, already losing interest. I stood there, stunned. Jess, can we talk for a second? She sighed. Dad, I'm kind of busy right now. It'll just take a minute. She rolled her eyes but followed me a few steps away. I just wanted to say how proud I am of you, I said. You've worked so hard, and I know high school wasn't always easy. Dad, can we do this later? Dave's taking us to this really nice restaurant and I'd really like to take you to dinner too. Just us. We could go to that Italian place you used to love. That place is kind of cheap, Dad. No offense. The words hit me like a physical blow. Cheap. I just mean, Dave's taking us somewhere really nice. With his parents. It's kind of a family thing. I'm your family, Jessica. She looked uncomfortable. You know what I mean. No. I don't. Explain it to me. Dad, don't be weird about this. I'm not being weird. I'm trying to understand why I'm not included in family dinners anymore. People were starting to stare. Jessica's face flushed with embarrassment. Maybe because you're not really part of the family anymore, she hissed. Dave's the one who lives with us. Dave's the one who takes care of us. Dave's the one who's actually there. I've been there every chance I got. Every other weekend, every Wednesday I could. That's not enough. Dave is there every day. He helps me with homework. He comes to my games. He's more of a father to me than you'll ever be. The world stopped. I stared at my daughter, this person I'd loved since the moment she was born, and saw nothing but contempt in her eyes. Jessica! Just stop, Dad. Stop trying so hard. It's embarrassing. She turned and walked away. Back to Linda. Back to Dave. Back to her real family. I stood there in that parking lot, gift receipt still in my pocket, and finally understood. I'd lost my daughter. Not to death. Not to distance. To someone better. Someone richer. Someone more worthy. And there was nothing I could do about it. I got in my 10-year-old Honda and drove home to my small apartment. And I cried like I hadn't cried since the divorce. Because my daughter was right. Dave was better than me. At least, that's what I believed. For the next 2 years, I barely heard from Jessica. A text on my birthday. An obligatory visit on Christmas. She was busy with her life. Her real family. Her future. And I was just Marcus, the biological father. The guy who couldn't compete with Dave Richardson's money and status. I accepted it. What choice did I have? I threw myself into work. Picked up extra shift. Tried not to think about the daughter who'd outgrown me. I thought that was how the story would end. Me, alone, watching my daughter's life from a distance. But then, everything changed. Dave left. And suddenly, after 2 years of silence, my phone started ringing. And on the other end was Jessica, crying, desperate, and needing something only I could provide. Money. It was 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday when my phone rang. I was already in bed, trying to fall asleep after a 12-hour shift. I almost didn't answer when I saw Jessica's name on the screen. We hadn't spoken in 4 months. Not since a brief, awkward text exchange on Father's Day where she'd sent, "Happy Father's Day," and I'd replied, "Thank you, sweetheart. Love you." She never responded to the "love you." But something made me answer. Maybe hope. Maybe stupidity. "Hello? Dad." Her voice was thick with tears. "Dad, I need your help." I sat up instantly, heart pounding. "Jessica? What's wrong? Are you okay? Are you hurt?" "I'm fine. I mean, I'm not hurt. But Dad, everything's falling apart." "What do you mean? What happened?" She sobbed. "Dave left. He and Mom are getting divorced. He moved out last week and he's not coming back." My mind was racing. "I'm sorry, honey. I know that must be really hard for you." "It's not just that. Dad, he cut us off. Completely. He's not paying for anything anymore." There it was. The real reason for the call. "What do you mean he's not paying for anything?" "He said since he's divorcing Mom, he has no legal obligation to me anymore. He's not paying my car insurance. He's not paying for my apartment. He's not paying my tuition. Nothing." Jessica was 18 now. Just finished her first semester at a private university. A university that cost $40,000 a year. A university I'd never been consulted about. Never asked to contribute to. Because Dave was handling it. "Jessica, slow down. Tell me what's happening." Through her tears, the story came out. Dave had been having an affair. Linda found out. There was a massive fight. Dave moved out and immediately filed for divorce. And because Jessica wasn't legally his child, he decided she wasn't his responsibility anymore either. The car he'd bought her? He wanted it back or she had to take over payments. The apartment he'd been paying for? Rent was due in 2 weeks and she had nothing. Her tuition for next semester? Due in a month. $20,000. Her phone bill, car insurance, credit cards he'd given her for emergencies? All cut off or transferred to her name. "I don't know what to do," Jessica cried. "Mom can't afford any of this. She didn't work while she was with Dave. She doesn't have that kind of money." I sat there in my bed, in my small apartment, listening to my daughter panic. And I felt nothing. No, that's not true. I felt something. I felt vindicated. Dad? Are you there? I'm here. So, can you help me? I need money. Like, a lot of money. At least $5,000 right now for rent and car payments and insurance. And then I need to figure out tuition. Jessica, I don't have $5,000. Silence. What do you mean you don't have it? I mean I don't have it. I make $48,000 a year. After taxes, rent, utilities, my own bills, and the child support I paid until you turned 18, I don't have $5,000 just sitting around. But I need it. I understand that. But I don't have it. Well, can you get a loan or something? This is an emergency. A loan. She wanted me to go into debt for her. The daughter who'd called me Marcus. Who'd told me Dave was more of a father than I'd ever be. Who'd ghosted me for years unless she needed something. Jessica, why didn't you call me when Dave first left? A week ago, you said. I thought maybe he'd change his mind. Or Mom would figure something out. But she can't. And now I'm screwed. So I'm the last resort. What? No. Dad, you're my father. I need you. Those words. I need you. Not I love you. Not I miss you. Not I'm sorry for how I've treated you. Just I need you. Jessica called again the next day. And the day after that. Each call more desperate than the last. Dad, my car insurance is going to lapse. I'll lose my license. Dad, my landlord is threatening to evict me. Dad, I can't drop out of school. Do you know how embarrassing that would be? Every conversation was about money. What she needed. What I should provide. What I owed her. Never once did she ask how I was doing. If I was okay. How work was going. It was like talking to a bill collector, not my daughter. On the fourth call, I asked her something. Jessica, when's the last time we had a conversation that wasn't about money? She paused. What? When's the last time you called me just to talk? To see how I'm doing? To tell me about your life not because you need something, but because you want to share with me? Dad, I don't have time for this. I have real problems. Answer the question. I don't know. I've been busy. College is hard and I've had a lot going on. You've had time for Dave. You've had time for your friends. You've had time for everyone except me. Until now. Until you need money. That's not fair. Isn't it? Jessica, you told me 2 years ago that Dave was more of a father than I'd ever be. Where is he now? She was quiet. He left, I continued. And the second he did, the second he stopped being useful to you, you came running to me. Not because you missed me. Not because you realized you'd been wrong about me. But because you need money. I'm your daughter. You're supposed to help me. I'm your father. Which means I've been helping you. For 18 years. Even when you didn't want me around. Even when you canceled our visit. Even when you treated me like an ATM machine instead of a parent. I never. Yes, you did. And now you're doing it again. A week after the first call, Jessica showed up at my apartment. I was shocked to see her standing at my door. She'd never visited my place. Not once in the 8 years I'd lived here. Can I come in? She asked. I stepped aside. She walked in, looking around with barely concealed judgment. My apartment is small but clean. A couch I'd bought secondhand. A TV from 5 years ago. Kitchen table with mismatched chairs. Nothing fancy. But it was mine. So this is where you live, she said. This is it. She sat on my couch, looking exhausted. Defeated. Dad, I'm desperate. The rent is due in 3 days. If I don't pay it, I'm getting evicted. I'll have nowhere to go. You could move back in with your mother. Into her 2-bedroom apartment? Dad, I'm 18. I can't live with my mom. Why not? I lived with my parents until I was 22. That's different. How? Because I'm used to having my own space. My own life. The space Dave paid for. Her face flushed. Why are you being like this? Like what? Honest. Cruel. You're being cruel. I'm asking for help and you're throwing everything in my face. I sat down across from her. Jessica, I've been saving money for the past 2 years. Not much. About $4,000. It was supposed to be for emergencies. Maybe a new car eventually since mine is dying. Maybe to help with your wedding someday. Her eyes lit up. $4,000? Dad, that would. I'm not giving it to you. Her face fell. What? Why not? Because you don't respect me. You don't value me. You only want me when I'm useful. That's not true. Really? When's the last time you told me you loved me? She opened her mouth, closed it. When's the last time you asked about my life? My job? My health? Silence. When's the last time you spent time with me because you wanted to, not because you were obligated or needed something? Tears started streaming down her face. I've been busy. For 2 years? You've been too busy for your father for 2 years, but you had plenty of time for Dave. Until he wasn't useful anymore. And now you want me to bail you out. I'm your daughter. And that's supposed to be enough? Biology? The fact that I'm your father means I should just hand over my savings while you continue to treat me like garbage. I don't treat you like garbage. You called me Marcus to your friends. You told me Dave was more of a father than I'd ever be. You canceled our visits constantly. You made me feel like I was an inconvenience in your life. And the only reason you're here right now is because you need money. Jessica was crying hard now. I didn't mean those things. I was young. I was stupid. Are you apologizing because you mean it? Or because you need $4,000? She stared at me, tears running down her face, and I saw the exact moment she realized she couldn't manipulate me anymore. Fine, she shouted. You want the truth? Yes. I liked Dave better. He was successful. He was fun. He took us places and bought me things and made me feel special. You were just the guy who showed up every other weekend with cheap gifts and tried too hard. Every word was a knife, but I didn't flinch. He made my life better, she continued. He gave me opportunities. He paid for my private school. He bought me a car. He got me into a good college. What did you ever do except make me feel guilty for wanting more? I loved you, I said quietly. That's not enough. Love doesn't pay for college. Love doesn't buy cars. Love doesn't. Love is all I had, Jessica. I gave you everything I could. Every dollar I could spare. Every hour I could get. Every ounce of energy I had. I worked myself to exhaustion trying to give you a good life within my means. And it was never enough because I was competing with a millionaire. That's not my fault. You're right. It's not. But it's also not my fault that Dave left. It's not my fault that the lifestyle you got used to disappeared overnight. And it's not my responsibility to bankrupt myself to maintain it. So you're just going to let me get evicted? Let me drop out of school? I'm going to let you experience consequences. For the first time in your life, you're going to understand that actions have repercussions, that you can't treat people like disposable ATMs and expect them to rescue you. She stood up, shaking with rage. I can't believe you're doing this to me. I'm not doing anything to you. Dave did this. Your mother did this by not preparing you for this possibility. And you did this by choosing money and status over a relationship with your father. I hate you. You don't hate me. You hate that I won't do what you want. There's a difference. Jessica grabbed her purse and stormed toward the door. Then she turned back. You know what? You're right. You aren't my father. Not really. A real father would help me. A real father would do whatever it takes. Dave was more of a father to me than you ever were. At least he actually cared. He cared enough to abandon you the second it wasn't convenient anymore, I said. I've been here the whole time. You just never noticed. She slammed the door so hard my cheaply framed pictures rattled on the wall. I sat on my second-hand couch in my small apartment and felt relief. Not happiness. Not satisfaction. Just relief. Because for the first time in 8 years I'd stood up for myself. I'd set a boundary. I'd said no. The calls didn't stop. Jessica called crying, screaming, begging, threatening. Dad, please. I'm going to be homeless. Dad, how can you do this to your own daughter? Dad, everyone is going to know what kind of person you are. Linda called too. That was a surprise. Marcus, you need to help Jessica. She's desperate. Where's her stepfather? The one who was so much better than me. Don't be petty. This is about Jessica, not your ego. My ego? Linda, your husband spent 8 years making me feel inadequate. Your daughter spent years telling me I wasn't good enough. And now you want me to drain my savings to fix the mess you made by not preparing her for this. We thought Dave would always be there. Well, he's not. And neither am I. Not anymore. Not like this. You're being selfish. I'm being realistic. Jessica needs to learn that the world doesn't revolve around her. That people aren't just resources to be used. And maybe if you'd taught her that instead of letting Dave spoil her rotten, we wouldn't be here. That last one made me see red. My late wife Catherine. Jessica's stepmother who died of cancer when Jessica was 6. Before the divorce. Before Dave. Catherine had loved Jessica like her own. And Jessica barely remembered her. Don't you dare use Catherine's name to manipulate me, I said coldly. Catherine would be ashamed of the person you've become. She'd be heartbroken by how you've treated me. So don't you ever mention her again unless you're ready to have a real conversation about values and character. Jessica hung up. The calls slowed down, then stopped, and I waited to see what my daughter would do next. Would she figure it out? Get a job? Take out loans? Find a cheaper apartment? Or would she double down and cut me out completely, just like she'd done to Dave? I didn't know. But for the first time in years, I wasn't going to sacrifice myself to find out. 3 weeks passed without a word from Jessica. No calls. No texts. Nothing. I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt. Every day I checked my phone, hoping to see her name. Some part of me, the part that still remembered her as a little girl who used to fall asleep on my shoulder, wanted her to reach out. But not like before. Not with demands and manipulation. I wanted her to reach out because she finally understood. My coworker, James, noticed the change in me during a lunch break. You seem different lately, he said. Lighter, maybe? My daughter hasn't called in 3 weeks. That's good. I don't know yet. But at least she's not calling me for money every day. The one who picked the rich stepdad over you? I'd told James the whole story over the years. He'd listened without judgment, just shaking his head at each new indignity. That's the one. She'll either figure it out or she won't, James said. But either way, you did the right thing. Can't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm, man. Even if that someone is your kid. He was right. I knew he was right. But it still hurt. 6 weeks after our fight, I got a text. Not a call. A text. Dad, can we talk? Not about money. Just talk. I stared at that message for 10 minutes. Was this another manipulation? Another angle? Or was it real? I typed back. When and where? Coffee? Tomorrow at 10? That place near your apartment. She'd never been to any place near my apartment. She barely knew where I lived. I'll be there. I didn't sleep that night. I played out 100 different scenarios. What she might say. What I might say. How it might go wrong. By the time I walked into the coffee shop, I was exhausted and anxious. Jessica was already there, sitting in a corner booth. She looked different. Thinner. Tired. Her hair was in a simple ponytail instead of the styled waves she usually wore. No designer clothes. Just jeans and a plain sweater. She looked like she'd been through hell. Hi, Dad, she said quietly as I sat down. Hi, Jessica. Awkward silence. I ordered you a black coffee, she said. I remembered that's what you drink. It was such a small thing. But it was the first time in years she'd remembered anything about me. Thank you. She wrapped her hands around her own cup. I'm working at Target now. 25 hours a week. It's not much, but it's something. I didn't say anything. Just waited. I had to drop out of the private university. I couldn't afford it. I'm enrolled at community college now. It's different. But it's okay. That's good, I said carefully. I'm living with Mom. Her apartment is small and we're constantly on top of each other, but we're making it work. I'm glad you have a place to stay. The car got repossessed. Dave came and took it 2 weeks ago. So I'm taking the bus now. 2 transfers to get to work, but it's fine. She said it was fine, but her voice cracked. Jessica! No, let me finish. Please. She took a shaky breath. I had to cancel my spring break trip. Had to return all the clothes I'd bought on credit cards I can't pay off. Had to drop all my expensive hobbies. Everything changed overnight. I waited. And I was so angry at you, she continued. I thought you were punishing me. Being vindictive. Getting revenge for all the times I chose Dave over you. That's not what. I know. I know that now. But it took me a while to understand. She finally looked up at me, and her eyes were red. Dad, I've been in therapy. That surprised me. You have. Mom's insurance covers it. I started going 3 weeks ago. My therapist. She helped me see some things I didn't want to see. Like what? Jessica's voice got very small. Like the fact that I treated you horribly. For years. And I didn't even realize how bad it was because I was so focused on what Dave could give me. Tears started falling. I forgot that you were the one who stayed, Dad. Through everything. Through the divorce, through Mom remarrying, through all my mood swings and teenage drama. You stayed. You kept showing up even when I made it clear I didn't want you there. My own eyes were burning now. And when Dave left, my first thought wasn't, I miss Dad, or I wish I'd treated Dad better. It was, how can I get Dad to give me money? Like you were just another Dave. Another resource. Jessica. I'm so sorry. She was crying hard now, and people were starting to stare. I'm so sorry for everything. For calling you Marcus. For saying Dave was a better father. For canceling our visits. For only calling when I needed money. For making you feel like you weren't enough. You were always enough. I was just too spoiled and stupid to see it. I reached across the table and took her hand. She gripped it like a lifeline. I don't expect you to forgive me, she said through her tears. I don't expect anything. I just needed you to know that I finally get it. I finally understand what I had and what I threw away. And I'm so sorry. We sat there for a long time. Not talking. Just being present. Finally, when she'd calmed down, I spoke. Jessica, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest. Okay. Are you here because you genuinely want to repair our relationship? Or because you've exhausted all other options and you're hoping I'll change my mind about the money? She flinched like I'd slapped her. But she didn't get defensive. A month ago? It would have been the second one. I would have come here, cried, apologized, and secretly hoped you'd offer to help. And now, I'm here because I miss my dad. Because I realized that when Dave left, the thing that hurt most wasn't losing the money or the lifestyle. It was realizing that I'd destroyed my relationship with the one person who actually loved me unconditionally. And I don't know if I can fix it, but I had to try. I believed her. Maybe I was a fool, but I believed her. Jessica, I need you to understand something. I didn't refuse to help you to punish you. I did it because I couldn't keep enabling the behavior. I couldn't keep being treated like a bank account instead of a person. I know. My therapist explained that. She said what I was doing is called financial abuse. That I was exploiting you emotionally. It's good that you can see that now. Dad, I don't want your money. I mean, yes, I'm struggling. Yes, it's hard. But I'm figuring it out. I got the job. I'm budgeting. I'm learning to live within my means. For the first time in my life, I'm actually taking responsibility for myself. I'm proud of you for that. She looked at me with surprise. You are. Of course I am. It takes courage to admit you were wrong. To make changes. To do the hard work. I have a long way to go. We both do. Jessica wiped her eyes. So, where do we go from here? I'd been thinking about this for weeks, preparing for this conversation. I want to rebuild our relationship, I said. But it has to be different this time. I need boundaries, and I need you to respect them. Okay. Tell me. First, no more comparing me to Dave or anyone else. I am who I am. I make what I make. I live how I live. And I won't be made to feel inferior because I'm not wealthy. I understand. I'm sorry I ever made you feel that way. Second, if you need help, real help, not just money, you ask. But you don't demand. You don't manipulate. You don't guilt trip. You ask honestly, and I'll be honest about whether I can help or not. That's fair. Third, we spend time together regularly. Not just when it's convenient. Not just when you need something. Real time. Building a real relationship. I'd like that. I'd really like that. And fourth. This was the hard one. You have to understand that trust is rebuilt slowly. I'm not going back to being the dad who says yes to everything and gets walked all over. If you slip back into old patterns, I'll call you on it. And if it continues, I'll walk away again. She nodded seriously. I understand. And Dad? I don't want you to be that dad either. I want you to be the dad who respects himself enough to set boundaries. Because that's the dad I respect too. We started slow. Coffee once a week. Just talking. About her job, her classes, my work, life in general. Jessica told me about her therapy sessions. About unpacking her relationship with money and status. About grieving the loss of Dave, not as a father figure, but as the lifestyle he represented. My therapist asked me what I actually liked about Dave as a person, Jessica said during one of our coffee dates. And I realized I didn't really know him. I just knew what he could do for me. That's messed up, right? It's honest, I said. And that's what matters. She told me about her classes at community college. How she'd been nervous about the downgrade, but was actually enjoying the smaller class sizes and more engaged professors. It's not prestigious, she said. But I'm actually learning. At the private school, I was just going through the motions. Prestige is overrated. Education is what matters. Dave used to say prestige is everything. Dave was wrong about a lot of things. She smiled. A real smile. Yeah. He was. I told her about my work. About the tenants I help. About the satisfaction of fixing things, of solving problems, of making people's lives a little easier. That sounds really fulfilling, she said. It is. It doesn't pay much, but it matters. I'm sorry I ever made you feel like what you do isn't important. I know you are. 2 months into our weekly coffee dates, Jessica asked if she could come to my apartment for dinner. I want to cook for you, she said. If that's okay. I know my way around a kitchen now. Mom's been teaching me since we can't afford to eat out anymore. I'd like that. She showed up with grocery bags. Nothing expensive. Pasta, sauce, salad ingredients, garlic bread. It's not fancy, she said apologetically. It's perfect. I watched her move around my small kitchen, more comfortable than she'd been during her first visit. She didn't judge the space this time. Didn't compare it to Dave's house. She just cooked. Over dinner, she brought up something she'd clearly been rehearsing. Dad, I need to apologize for something specific. Okay. My graduation. When I said Dave was more of a father to you than you'd ever be. She was looking at her plate, unable to meet my eyes. That was the cruelest thing I've ever said to anyone, and I knew it was cruel when I said it. I wanted to hurt you because you were trying to be part of my life and I didn't want you there. I wanted you to go away so I could have my perfect family with Mom and Dave. Jessica. No, please let me finish. I think about that moment all the time now. I think about your face, how destroyed you looked, and I feel sick. Because you didn't deserve that. You'd never done anything except love me and try your best. And I threw it in your face because I was a spoiled brat who valued money over people. She was crying again, but she kept going. I can't take it back. I can't undo it. But I need you to know that I was wrong. Completely, totally wrong. Dave isn't my father. He was never my father. He was a rich guy who liked playing house until it got inconvenient. You're my father. You've always been my father. And I'm so sorry it took losing everything to figure that out. I got up and hugged her. Really hugged her. For the first time in years. I forgive you, I said. I forgive you. We stood there in my tiny kitchen, holding each other and crying, and something that had been broken for 8 years started to heal. 6 months after our first coffee meeting, Jessica's life looked completely different. She'd been promoted to shift supervisor at Target. It wasn't glamorous, but she was proud of it. She'd made the dean's list at community college. Was thinking about transferring to a state school to finish her bachelor's degree. She'd paid off 2 of her credit cards. Was working on the 3rd. She came to my apartment every Sunday for dinner. Sometimes she cooked. Sometimes I cooked. Sometimes we ordered pizza and watched movies. She asked about my life. Remembered details. Brought me things I'd mentioned needing. For Father's Day, she gave me a photo album she'd made. Pictures of us from when she was little. Before the divorce. Before Dave. Before everything went wrong. I found these at Mom's, she said. I'd forgotten how happy we were. We can be happy again, I said. Different, but happy. I'd like that. Linda reached out too, surprisingly. Asked if we could talk. We met for coffee. It was awkward at first. I owe you an apology, Linda said. I let Dave replace you in Jessica's life because it was easier. Because he could provide things I couldn't. But I should have fought harder to maintain your relationship with her. I should have taught her that fathers aren't measured by bank accounts. Thank you for saying that. She's a different person now. More grounded. More real. Struggles do that sometimes. You did the right thing. Refusing to bail her out. I was angry at the time, but you were right. She needed to learn. She's still learning. We all are. 8 months after everything fell apart, I ran into Dave. I was at the grocery store, loading bags into my car, when I heard someone call my name. Marcus. I turned. Dave Richardson stood there, looking older than I remembered. Tired. Dave. How are you? I'm good. You? He shifted uncomfortably. I'm managing. Heard you and Jessica are rebuilding your relationship. We are. That's good. That's really good. He paused. I wanted to apologize. For how I handled things. With Jessica. I shouldn't have cut her off so completely. No, you shouldn't have. But that's between you and her. She won't talk to me. I tried reaching out a few times, but she's hurt. You positioned yourself as her father, and then abandoned her when it became inconvenient. That's going to take time to forgive, if she ever does. I know. I screwed up. He looked genuinely remorseful. For what it's worth, you did right by her. Tough love and all that. She needed it. I didn't do it to be tough. I did it to protect myself. Still, she's better for it. More responsible. More real. Less of the entitled princess she was becoming. I didn't know what to say to that. Take care of her, Dave said. She's a good kid. Under all the issues, she's got a good heart. I know. She's my daughter. He nodded and walked away. I never saw him again. A year after Jessica's first desperate phone call, we were at a father-daughter charity 5K run. Jessica had found it online and asked if I wanted to do it with her. I know running isn't really your thing, she'd said. But I thought it might be fun. Just us. We didn't win. We barely kept pace with the crowd. But we finished together. Afterward, sweaty and exhausted, we sat on the grass drinking water. "This was nice," Jessica said. "Thank you for doing this with me. Thank you for asking. Dad, can I tell you something? Always. I'm happy. Like really happy. Happier than I was when I had all the money and all the stuff and the perfect Instagram life. Why do you think that is? Because it's real now. This life, this relationship with you, the things I'm accomplishing on my own. It's all real. It's mine. I earned it." She smiled. "Turns out having less stuff, but more genuine relationships is actually better. Took me until my 30s to figure that out. You're ahead of schedule." She laughed. Then got serious. "I know I can never fully make up for how I treated you. But I want you to know I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying. Not because I feel obligated, but because you deserve a daughter who appreciates you. You're already doing that. Every Sunday dinner, every coffee date, every time you ask about my life instead of just talking about yours. You're already doing it. I love you, Dad. I don't think I've said that enough over the years. But I love you. I love you too, sweetheart." We sat there in comfortable silence, watching other families cross the finish line. "Hey, Dad," Jessica said after a while. "Yeah. Remember when I said Dave was more of a father to you than you'd ever be?" My stomach clenched. "I remember. I just want you to know that was the stupidest thing I've ever said. You're the best father I could have asked for. I was just too blind to see it. You see it now. That's what matters." "Yeah. I do. People ask me sometimes if I regret how I handled things, if I regret refusing to bail Jessica out when she was desperate. The answer is no. Because that refusal saved our relationship. It forced Jessica to grow up, to take responsibility, to understand that love isn't measured in dollars and that people aren't just resources to be used. It forced me to set boundaries, to demand respect, to understand that being a good father doesn't mean sacrificing your dignity. Could I have handled it differently? Maybe. Could I have been less harsh? Possibly. But would Jessica have learned the lesson she needed to learn? I don't think so. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let someone fall. Let them face consequences. Let them struggle. Not because you don't care, but because you care enough to let them grow. Jessica's life isn't perfect now. She still struggles with money. Still works retail while going to school. Still takes the bus and budgets carefully and lives with her mom. But she's happy. Genuinely happy. And she's building a life based on her own effort, her own values, her own choices. And our relationship? It's stronger than it's ever been. Because it's real now. Built on honesty and mutual respect instead of obligation and guilt. My daughter said her stepdad was better than me. For a long time, I believed her. But she was wrong. Not because I'm perfect. Not because I'm wealthy or successful or impressive. But because I stayed. Even when it hurt. Even when I wasn't wanted. Even when I wasn't appreciated. I stayed. And eventually she came back. Not because she needed money. But because she needed her dad. And I was still there. That's what real fathers do. We stay. Even when it's hard. Even when it hurts. Even when we're told we're not good enough. We stay. And sometimes, if we're lucky, our kids finally figure out what we've known all along. That love isn't about what you can provide. It's about who you are. And who you choose to be. Every single day. I'm Marcus. I'm a maintenance supervisor. I drive an old car and live in a small apartment. And I'm the best father my daughter could have asked for. She knows that now. And so do I.